That all with WrestleMania?
Yeah.
All right, so we Solo Leveling?
Solo Leveling.
Be a quick one.
Man.
What's your overall thoughts, Tim?
So my cousin said it best. You ever go to a Brazilian restaurant and like when you flip the card over and it's green and they keep bringing out meat until you flip the card back over, you tell them to stop?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. You just flip the green and they just kept feeding you and it was good. I really enjoyed this anime a lot. There was one scene I thought about both of you a lot was when he used the elixir on his mom.
Yeah.
I really thought about both of you and my wife too. You know, 'cause I know y'all would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
you know what I
no
mean?
question.
And like
Not a
that was a
You
really
know-
touching moment for me. Just like
Do you know that was the only episode that had more downvotes than up?
really,
Yeah, people were really upset, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with y'all?" I was like,
Yeah.
y'all want hands all the time,
right?
like, but some of these shows, like, you got to give them a chance to break. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and that was so. I'll talk about the people complaining about Solo Leveling in a second, but like, that was the moment in the story that we're like, okay, he finally got what he wanted,
Yeah.
Right.
and people were upset, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Everything he went through,
Right.
finally worth
Right.
it.
And I will say this: they rushed through it in the anime, but in the manhwa, you see a lot more of him in the tower and like what he had to go through to get there. And I doubt Jazz is reading it because she's like, and now that she's reading it, she's like, wow, they left out this, they left out that, they left out this, and I'm like, yeah, it's the anime. I seen one dude that was like, oh, well, when did Jinwoo have not be able to be poisoned? I was like, they explained that a while ago. I was like, but they just kind of just showed it flash in the anime, like,
Yeah, because I will say I remember seeing it.
yeah, they showed it, but
They just showed like that's one thing you have to do in Solo Leveling is when they flash those things like upgrade this, you gotta pause like, okay, what did he get?
and they do it so fast.
Yeah, like you
that,
have
you
to
know what I mean?
pause.
But of course, in the manhwa, you get to read it all and see it all and understand. So like even like when Iron does his roar,
Right.
he's using taunt. Like,
Okay, yeah.
they show it like, oh, he used taunt, like he's using taunt so everyone knows to attack him.
Right.
Like, so there's certain things that like,
No.
speaking of the ice elves, they only show the bears and the ice elves. There's a giant yeti there also.
Oh, really?
And it's giant and red, and it was what destroyed the whole other team.
Okay.
It wasn't the ice elves, it was the yeti
Yetis.
that destroyed them. And
Okay.
then when the ice elf showed up is when he goes running away.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I love the Final Fantasy vibe that it gives me in that game, like the attack, you know, just but Jinwoo's a really cool MC.
Mhm.
I like him a lot. The only issue I did have with this anime is where's the villains? But I obviously
See, look that look on his face tells you in for some shit.
Yeah, so well, obviously whoever this Chinese hunter is, he got my attention. He got my attention. And I was like, because I felt,
Chinese hunter.
well, he was on the boat on the last episode and he took out all the ants.
Mhm. So I'm without spoiling anything,
But
and I need people to understand this. There is levels to S ranks.
Well, obviously.
yeah.
So, but there's S ranks, and then there's like
Jinwoo.
they call them national, which means like they're as big as a nation, like they're as strong as a
Right.
nation. So I'm not gonna spoil anything that's coming, but let's just say you're still about okay, so they kind of showed them,
A little bit. Yeah, like
but
down in the cave, right?
You'll see who the villains are.
Right.
But I'm seeing people, and here's my thing. People, again, this is why I hate a lot of the anime community, because everything's mid. Shut
Yeah.
the hell up. I seen somebody that was like, oh man, this show's mid because the side characters are useless. I'm like, you idiot. It's called Solo Leveling.
yeah.
It's in the name.
You're right.
It's in the name. Solo.
I do like how they kill people off and don't
See-
care.
Mhm.
Like how the people just getting killed and stuff, and
Yeah.
just I'm like, cause like see, the thing was season 1, the purple hair guy, he went and started killing everybody in there. I'm like, all right, we got a villain. And then he died. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. To piggyback off of what you just said, Q, that's one of the questions I have is, will there be an issue of power creep where every future obstacle will be so strong that you basically don't care until Jinwoo shows up? Because you're like, everyone else is useless until Jinwoo shows up.
Well,
like,
this isn't, I'll just say this isn't One Punch Man.
Like, that's just my issue. Like, is there an issue of power creep? Because they just showed that basically every hunter in Japan is cannon fodder compared to Jinwoo. Or not Japan. Let's say it's Korea. My bad. Might as well say Japan too. Well, yeah. But
they tried to make him in the anime look like he was on par with Jinwoo. I'm blanking on his name.
The guy that died to
the last one that Beirut killed.
Yeah.
They tried to, but in the manga or the manhwa, after they had that little clash, he was in like a cold sweat, like fear. Like, he's like, oh my God, I've never felt strength like that. Like, he was never on par with Jinwoo.
Yeah.
Like, people were like, man, how did Jinwoo get so strong? I was like, he wasn't on par with him.
But that's my thing is there going to be an issue where a threat comes and if Jinwoo's not there, you're going to be like, well, this is pointless because they're going to fold whoever shows up until Jinwoo shows up.
Nope.
So
Jinwoo isn't Goku. He's not always just going to be like, I'm not going, and then
right,
randomly show up and then be like, oh yay, I'm here to save the day.
Yeah, see, that's the one thing because I'm just going off of the information that has been given to us so far. Like you said, you've read the manhwa, so you have more information.
Right.
The information I have so far is that for the most part, wherever you're at is where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the people that we've been introduced to so far are at where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Cha, that's the chick, right?
Yes. Cha.
She was the shit up until this point.
And now she wants to get up to Jinwoo's level, right? That's the same one that was like, I gotta get to his level.
Yep.
Okay. And now I'm sitting there like, well, based off the information you showed me, that's not happening.
No. Man.
Because I can't remember who said it. I don't know if it was the guild leader or if it was the guy with the red hair that was like, Jinwoo is a S rank that can improve. Like, he's shocked at that concept.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that means all the other S ranks can maybe improve a little bit here and there. That's basically skill improvement as opposed to power improvement.
You'll find out there's levels.
I just
S ranks.
I just like the Chinese hunter. That dude.
Not every S rank is built the same.
Yeah,
that's all you like. That's
obvious.
Yeah,
like you can't have every S rank be the same because then it just makes a pretty bland story.
But they try to make it seem like oh, this is the pinnacle of power. It's not.
But I'm just like,
it's not. And I mean
that was just my question.
You seen what Jinwoo's dad did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
you seen the destruction of it,
right?
But yeah, there's gonna be a lot more characters coming and a lot stronger, and there's gonna be a lot better shadows. Not better. Beirut is the best shadow there is, and anyone that read the manhwa will agree with me. But there is some stronger ones without ruining anything coming.
Okay.
I can't.
And lastly, I just got to say, heavy Hunter x Hunter vibes in season 2.
Only because of their ass. Beirut was nothing like Miram.
Hmm.
We actually got to see Beirut do stuff.
Yeah, yes and no. Like, yeah, he's from a character and motivation standpoint, no, they're nothing alike. But the general guideline is 1 for 1.
Well, yeah, they're ants that are strong.
They're ants that are basically taking on and adjusting to the environment in order to get stronger.
That's not how Beirut got stronger.
How did he get stronger?
Beirut gets stronger from, I don't want to spoil too much, but from eating the other hunters. Remember, like Miriam and them, the mom ate and then he came out strong.
Yeah.
Beirut came out strong, but he had to get stronger by working his way through the S ranks. That's why they didn't explain it in the anime, but he was using their powers. After he ate them, he was able to use their powers.
It still gave me heavy Hunter x Hunter vibes.
Miriam couldn't do that, and we never even seen Miriam do anything.
Yeah,
like he got blown up, and then he survived, and then he played that game in
Gungi.
And that was
right.
it.
I still want to. There is someone who made an actual set for that game, and I think it would be an interesting game to play.
Yeah.
I want to buy it.
Yeah, but I mean, if you take away the fact that they're both ants, which what is up with well, that's from Korea, but what's up with Japanese and ants?
I don't know.
I've seen like 4 different animes where ants are like,
right,
especially like chimeras or like
yeah,
bad. Like
maybe it's something in their
some type of
mythology,
some type of folklore or something. Yeah,
but and I kept seeing people that's like, oh, he's like Miriam. I'm like, Beru doesn't care about being smart. Like he wants to throw hands.
Yeah,
like,
but that's getting into the details. If you just look at it at a high level, they're a lot similar.
I did
very high level.
They're just ants. That's the only thing.
That's why I said high level. You were born ridiculously stronger than all the other ants. You're pretty much unbeatable.
There was a build up to Miriam. Remember, they got stronger and stronger with each generation.
Well, there was a build.
It was just regular generation. And then it was like
there was a build up for they sped it up, but there was a build up for the ants in Solo Leveling. Because at first they were just ants, just a bunch of them.
Right.
And you just got overrun. Then the white, like at the very beginning, like that's when they ran into, I think, the white ones.
That never happened in the manga. That never happened in the manhwa. That whole beginning part never happened.
Okay.
They didn't show the Jeju Island arc. That was just randomly that they did for the anime.
Okay. Well, I'm going off the information I have.
Yeah. No.
But then they were like, okay, well, it's just isolated to Jeju Island. Okay. Then they started getting a couple that can fly. So there was a progression.
But what I'm saying is, like, as they build up in Hunter x Hunter, it was like they got more powers and they became different animals.
Yeah.
And then it was like, then there was the King's Guard.
Yeah.
It was P2 and all of them. You didn't have that. You just had, these ones are stronger than that one's. Boom, Beirut.
Yeah.
And he was significantly stronger.
Yeah. I mean,
rest,
yes, did they skip some levels? Yes. But it's still, like I said, high level. It's similar.
And Beirut looks like an ant. Miriam looked like Cell.
Yes.
So, I mean, it like I said, other than them calling Miru an ant, you wouldn't think he was an ant.
Like I said,
he
high
nothing
level.
like an ant.
High level. If someone was to give the guidelines of Hunter x Hunter, hey, there's a species called chimera ants. They eat stuff and they take on the properties. They ended up getting humans and they got stronger. Okay. There's these things. These are these ants. For some reason, they keep getting stronger. As they get stronger, they're evolving to become more human-like. It's high level. The details on how they look.
Which ones evolved to become more human-like? You talking about in Solo Leveling?
Hunter. Well, they became Beru or whatever his name is human-like.
He's a humanoid.
Yeah, human-like.
Yeah, well,
human-like.
But they're still ants.
Yes, high level.
They were no longer ants in Hunter.
Yes, I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. At a high level, if you give just the points, the bullet points, yes, the details in Hunter x Hunter, yes, they look a lot. They look nothing like ants.
That would be base level. Then that wouldn't be high level.
Right?
That would be base because
I'm going off of technical like computer science.
Okay.
High level means you just go over the guidelines.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the internet do? It allows you to reach places from far away.
Yeah, if you look at it that way, they're both ants who got strong.
Yes, that's what I meant.
But that's
high
where
level
comparison is.
a very high level. That's what I said.
They're just strong ants.
That's what I said. High level.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
the details. Once you get into the details, you see the differences. But at a high level, it's very similar.
Yeah, but that's the equivalent to comparing Mount Lady from Hunter x Hunter to the Titans. They're both giant. Like that you know, like.
But that's what people do, is they're going to draw comparisons.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But I'm like, when you really break down them characters,
that's when you
really
get into the details. When you get into the details, things are vastly different.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, that's like,
just like people say at a high level, Superman and Goku are the same,
right?
But once you get into the details, they're nothing alike.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, no, I get what you're. Yeah, I get it.
Oh,
but yeah, they skipped a lot, and a lot of fights that they pretty much didn't want the Japanese hunters to completely get embarrassed.
Duh.
So, but yeah, like Beirut was using, and then they didn't explain it at all, but he was using a lot of their moves when he was fighting Jin.
Mm-hmm.
He did the ice. He killed the ice hunter. He healed himself. You know what I mean? Like which first of all. Even when I read the manhwa, why would you be like, you can't stop us as long as our healer's alive?
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Right.
If I'm the healer, I'm like, dude, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, right. Like,
you just trying to get me killed.
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, no, I mean it. The stuff that they skipped, it's like a lot of information in the manhwa that, like, if you read it, you'll be like, oh.
Yeah,
didn't realize that from the anime, right? I didn't realize that. Like,
they know the crowd.
Yeah,
the crowd's not going to want information. They want the hands, so they gotta skip it over.
That's why y'all watch animes like Windbreaker.
What, for all the action and all that stuff?
Straight hands,
Yeah.
straight hands.
Oh yeah, the dub was really good. I actually watched this in dub.
Yeah, that's what I said. The voice actor did well.
Who does Jinwoo's voice?
I don't know.
Alex Lee. I believe his name is
Johnny Young Boss.
No, it's not Johnny Young Boss.
I seen him on TikTok because everyone's like, "You better not mess up Arise."
And he met.
Like, I'll make it wakey. And I was like,
yeah, he was
hilarious.
It was, like I said, Q, I really liked it a lot. It was really good. Like I said, on that issue was like there was no villains, but after I saw that Chinese hunter, I was like, yep. Nah, I just need to know about him. That's all I care about now. I don't care about nothing else but this Chinese hunter that you don't remember.
I'll say this, and
I don't remember him.
I like after the first season, I kept telling people, like, not even like before the first season was like almost over, and they're like, "Oh man, I like this." I'm like, he didn't even get his power yet, and I'm like now we're just like he's still learning his power,
right?
And he still has a long way to go. And Jinwoo is, like I said, I told people I was like, he'll be your favorite MC. He's vicious.
Do you got him over Luffy?
When they get further in the anime, I probably will.
Okay, that's fair.
But from what I read, I love Jinwoo.
Jinwoo.
And it was funny because Jazz is like, oh yeah, well, what did she say when I started reading? She was like, yeah, like 2021. I was like, no. I was like, Jinwoo was the background on my computer in like 2019. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh yeah. Like my real old computer. But I'm like, like now that she's reading it, she's like, it's so much more information. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
Now, I'm not gonna say it's like to the level of like God of High School. So where like God of High School reading it, I'm like, this is amazing. And then like watching it, I was like, oh man, this is great. But then after I read it and I went back and watched it, I was like,
this is terrible.
Ruined this. You know what I mean?
Right.
They didn't ruin Solo Leveling. It's just there's some stuff that I'm like, I'm seeing people make videos like, oh well, this doesn't make any sense, or why did Jinwoo level up here? And I'm like, he didn't. He leveled up way back then, and they told you,
right.
They flashed it, and you weren't paying attention, or you know what I mean?
You blinked.
Yeah. Or they're like, oh man, how was he able to take down Beirut? And this dude died in a second, and they were on par with each other. They weren't. They never were.
So is this coming back at the end of the year, or is this gonna be next year?
I don't know.
You think probably?
I would hope end of the year, but I don't know.